of you will be removed. Please rejoin. Okay, now we shall go ahead with the next term, that is defamiliarization. You can see familiarization and defamiliarization is the opposite term. So the term defamiliarization refers to writers taking an everyday object that we all recognize, we all know, we are all familiar, and with a way of his or her authorial magic wand. Means what exactly? Creativity, creative writing. He takes a common subject, okay, rendering that same object weirdly unfamiliar to us. Means making the familiar unfamiliar is called defamiliarization. The same thing becomes strange to us, unfamiliar to us. And this very process, by using what we call the creativity. So it is a literary technique in which the process of writing is itself focused on more than any particular plot line. This plot is not in the focus. Okay, the process of writing itself is the way the subject is presented, the way the topic is presented, the plot is presented, the storyline is presented, is important. The process of writing is important. So defamiliarization, as I said, is a literary technique. And this technique involves exploring the differences between literature and reality. It explores, brings into light the differences between literature and reality. And this technique is used by writers to help identify their efforts as the works of literary art that they are. Okay, miss what exactly I'll tell you. Suppose you write a book, you do not focus on the story, but you try to tell how you wrote that book. The process of writing is more highlighted. Okay, so this is called kind of this is achieved by using foregrounding. It's a literary device with certain aspects of focus deliberately. And the term defamiliarization or estrangement, we can call it. Another term is estrangement, was coined by the Russian formalist. Okay, and this is used to indicate a process by which the writer makes the reader perceive the concrete uniqueness of an object, an idea that has been generalized by routine and habit. Miss, no, I'll tell you a very simple example. You come across a story of a very common person, and you never imagine that that can be a story at all. It is a routine thing. Okay, and a writer uses that very simple story, and we are actually surprised to see that such a simple routine thing can become a story. So it is a kind of theory technique which originated in 20th century. So as I mentioned earlier, this literary work presents familiar object or situation in an unfamiliar way, and it prolongs the perspective process, and it gives you a fresh perspective looking at the things. Means when you read a story, you may think more about the things which are really very familiar, but they become unfamiliar. Means you try to understand the thing in a more what we call better manner. In a better manner. I'm sorry for that comparative. It was a wrong comparative. More better cannot go together. In a better manner. Okay. So this is how we understand the term defamiliarization. It was used by Russian formalists. Formalism was a Russian school, of criticism, and it used the formal aspect of language. So it focuses more on language, not on the content. So this is how we understand the term defamiliarization. Now we should go ahead with the next term, that is denouement. Now this is the part of your plot. Yesterday we talked about exposition, rising action, climax. Then we talked about the falling action. Then we refer to regulation. So denouement is another term which comes after the falling action in the plot line, in the development of the plot. It is one of the stages. And the word denouement is derived from the French word denoun. Denoun means to unite, to untie, to untie, gradually, to show, to reveal the complications. So it is a literary device, and it can be defined as the regulation. Yesterday I talked about the falling action, and after that we have regulation. So denouement is a technical term to refer to regulation. So it is a regulation of the issue of a complicated plot in fiction. Means complications arise. Yesterday I told you the story of Portia. Antonio's life is in danger, and Portia comes to rescue him, to save his life. So when Portia argues, she says, no, yes, actually, despite of the king's telling and all, Shylock insists that he should get a pound of flesh from Antonio's body, especially the chest. She's in the disguise of a man, a lawyer. Okay, now everyone is tense. Everyone is now thinking that now Antonio will be in danger. She says agreed. As per the bond written, as per the agreement, he has to give a pound of flesh, but Shylock should take it without shedding a single drop of blood. Is it possible to cut a flesh from your body without shedding a drop of blood? So it is really impossible. So look, everyone was intense. The complication was at the peak point. You can understand the situation of tension, and suddenly she comes up with this proposal, and for Shylock it is almost impossible. So he submits, he surrenders. He says, no, it is not possible for me. So this is how we come to the resolution of the problem. So denouement is a kind of resolution. And when we talk about the examples of denouement, these examples show the resolution in the final part or chapter, which can be termed as an epilogue. An epilogue is the final part, prologue and epilogue. You might be knowing. Prologue is beginning and epilogue is the final part. Okay. And in a literary work, the denouement is the resolution of a plot, which occurs after its climax. It is the final outcome of the story. Okay. And it's not a literary technique as such. It is a device. Okay. It is one of several literary terms that describe a plotted conflict's unfolding and resolution. In general, we call it resolution. So literally, the meaning of the word is unknotting. Knot, K-N-O-T, knot, means we tie a knot. And the author ties a knot, and gradually this knot is unknotted. The guard sootli sutte. That is what denouement is. So the conclusion of a drama or a fiction, when the plot is unraveled and the mystery is solved. So that is what denouement is. Now, when we talk about the examples, we can refer to William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. In Romeo and Juliet, the denouement comes just after after Romeo and Juliet take their own lives. They die. The denouement is a final resolution or clarification, and it is used in different types of storytelling, movies, plays, etc. Okay, so we can say that a denouement wraps up the whole story. When you think about Sholay, Amitabh Bachchan Sholay, Amitabh Bachchan's death is a kind of denouement to the story. It can be it can be the happy ending or unhappy ending. You know, so when hard racing climax has created tension, anxiety, and excitement, denouement provides the audience a chance to breathe a sigh of relief. Okay, actually, denouement is positive in that way, whereas catastrophe is another term you might be knowing. Aristotle uses the term catastrophe for the negative ending, the tragic end of the story. Denouement is a solution, is a resolution, and the tragic end is what we call catastrophe. Some mishap, some bad incident takes place, death of the person, for example. So denouement places everything in proper order, and it allows the central theme or sentiments of the movie or a novel to resonate. Means marriage takes place, for example, after the opposition. So it is very important part of the story. And if it is constructed properly, the story is effective. Otherwise, the whole story can be destroyed. In many stories, there is no proper ending. Because of that, it loses its what we call appealing sense. Okay, so this is how we understand the term denouement and defamiliarization. Now let's go ahead with the next one.